Murders at Karlov Manor draft season was a fun one here on the channel, and new Karlov Manor draft content has unfortunately come to an end, but that doesn't have to mean that MKM limited content has to end as well. Over the course of this format, I ended up doing 34 total drafts and earning a 7-win trophy in 12 of those drafts, putting my trophy rate at a whopping 35% to go along with my 67% game win rate over the life of the format. So it is now time to close out the Murders at Karlov Manor limited season, as I like to do here on the channel, with a little top 8 of my best drafted decks over the course of the entire format. I have included 8 of the 12 trophy decks to battle it out in a single elimination best of 3 top 8 tournament, and after 7 videos over the course of the next couple of weeks, we will be able to crown what was my best drafted deck in Murders at Karlov Manor. Now, to help me with this tournament, I've enlisted the assistance of longtime friend, viewer, and patron of the channel, George, who will be playing on my alternate account to act as my opponent for each of these 7 matches. And today I will be playing Gruul Disguise, which was the second to last MKM draft posted to the channel on March the 21st. This deck was headlined by its 4 copies of Tunnel Tipster, accompanied by its 8 disguise creatures, leading to a plethora of games that spiraled out of control very quickly. This deck also runs a copy of Case of the Locked Hothouse, and usually one very soon after it was able to be solved. In this matchup, George will be piloting the only blue-red deck to trophy on the channel over the life of MKM in this last draft posted on March the 22nd. This deck runs 2 copies of Detective Satchel, a combo that is nearly unbeatable if you have both online at the same time. It also had its own power in Steam Core Scholar, Lamplight Phoenix, and a splashed Repulsive Mutation, all of which held their own weight in winning at least some of the 7 games on its way to its trophy. Drop a comment down below to let me know which deck you think will come out on top, and I'll see you in the match. Okay, here we are in our final quarterfinal match with me on Gruul Disguise. I guess Gruul splashing a little bit of white. We don't have any red in our opening hand here, but that's okay. George on Izzet Satchels, blue-red, the only blue-red deck in the format that got a trophy. And we will go first, leading on a Surveil land. Looks good to me. And I think we can do better than a Hellion here, so we'll send that one back. George did take a mulligan in this game, but that's okay. All right, how about another card we can't cast? Got a slow hand here. Hope we don't get punished. I am recording this post-matchup here, commentary style for you all. As I did in each of the other quarterfinal matches, and as I will do next week in the semifinals and finals of this best deck tournament. So here comes a turn 3 Steam Core Scholar, and we can block it with Inspector, but we've got Double Witness here, which or Double Torch, which we can't cast. So we could cast the Inspector, which is like quite mana inefficient here, or I can just cast Case and ramp a little bit, maybe. But the thing is, if I ramp and I miss a land drop next turn, I didn't really ramp. So, except for the fact that I do have the Bloomkin on the battlefield that I can actually ramp with. In fact, next turn, the Bloomkin guarantees I can solve this Case of the Locked Hothouse, which means we solve it on turn 5, I guess? Which is kind of busted. So I could attack with the Bloomkin first, but honestly, based on this start, I think I'm going to have to hold it back for block. So I just go ahead and do this here, get the Double Forest, put one on the battlefield, play the other one, pass it back as a 6/6, and solve the Case, which, I mean, that's going to be pretty huge. For those of you that have watched the rest of this series, this best deck series, yesterday's video had a Naya Disguise deck that if this Gruul deck wins, will take on that deck. And both have a copy of Case of the Locked Hothouse in it, a card that does serious work in both of the archetypes here. So hit our red land, hit another red land, and then find another land on top. So there's all sorts of things I could be doing here. Lots of options. could kill something, and it looks like I choose to kill the Scholar here, which, looking back on it, I kind of regret. I've got a V2 Ghazi Inspector, which I can make a 2/4 flyer, or 2/4 reach, so I don't really know why I did that. Maybe because I had, you know, Torch the Witness in hand. I think also because my thought was I can crack that clue, clear the mountain off the top of my deck, and maybe find something else to play. But I don't really think that's optimized either, so not a great decision here, but a 2/4 is still pretty good for us here. And let's go ahead and disguise the creeper. And usually with case, what you want to do is just be using the case to cast as many cards off the top of your deck as possible, and it's very difficult to lose from that spot. We just unfortunately hit a stonewall that turn of 2 lands in a row. So here's Gadget Technician with a flyer, but that's okay. We have a reach creature. Okay, passing it back with 5 mana, and don't love that. So let's start clearing off the top of our deck here. And here comes a Glint Weaver. That's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and cast that, not playing the land in the event that I do find one on the top of my deck there. I never know how to distribute the counters on a Glint Weaver. Like, you know, put another one on the reach creature, and then put one on the Glint Weaver as well, and then make them both 5 toughness reach creatures, I guess. So that seems to be what I go for. Gain 6 life currently. And can't play the Tunnel Tipster, so just go ahead and play the land. Looks to be out cold here. That is what it is. We still do have good blockers, though, so it's still going to be very difficult for them to get in. So no attacks from us. Pass it on back. It's always a decent sign when they start off by cracking clues. Deduce main phase, sure. And then crack another clue, maybe looking for a land drop for some reason. Did find it. Still didn't have great attacks at all. And here comes the value train. So Offender at Large is a 5/4, pumping up, I guess, Inspector, play Tunnel Tipster. Where are all of the lands? See if we can find any more here. Here's a land. And now we've got Torch the Witness and a board that is probably at this point insurmountable. So I don't really need the value of getting an extra clue here. So I'm just going to kill their flyer because, well, I do get the extra clue anyway. And at this point, I mean, it's kind of written on the wall as far as what the result of this one will be. In fact, I'm not sure we've taken any damage. Oh, we did take 2 damage early on because we gained 6 life from the Glint Weaver. Okay, Bloomkin stays tapped. Sprite locks down probably Glint Weaver here. Yep, okay. Things are getting locked down. And Tunnel Tipster gets shocked. Okay. There's a land. There's a creeper, and honestly, I'm just gonna play this one as a 5/5. There's another land, and then we hit the stone wall. So now we got to decide what to do with the hands in our, or the cards in our hand here. And at this point, with Fanatical Strength in hand, I can pretty much freely swing out. They go for a double block, they'll get completely blown out. Looks like they'll just try to take care of the disguised creatures, and I think I would rather keep the Clan Basher around, so we'll do that one here. And they go to 8, and we still have a bunch of creatures. So that'll do it for game 1, Case of the Locked Hothouse doing work again. So heading to game 2 in this best of 3 series. No sideboarding, but we are just making sure that there are no feel bads when it comes to mulligans or mana screw or mana flood, things like that. And Tunnel Tipster into a disguised creature is a hard hand to mulligan, so we'll keep it. Blue-red Jaded Analyst, sure. We'll lead on Tipster here. Projector Inspector is a good card. Okay, play the disguised creature, get a counter. Gadget Technician, they got a good curve out, so at least there's that. More lands. Debating using Torch of the Witness here, but like there's really nothing of great consequence to use it on, so I just be mana efficient and use it on the Inspector, don't get the extra clue, and then just play this, and now we have a 3/3 Tunnel Tipster. Just trying to keep up with their board presence here. But we don't have much else going for us necessarily. Okay, there's Sprite looking to keep down Tunnel Tipster and probably attacking all here, I would think. Yeah, so this is 7 points of damage. Can I afford to take 7 here? Or should I block with either of these creatures? Considering we don't have much else coming our way here, I can't just continually take this over and over again. So I block with the one I can't flip up next turn is my plan. And now, do I play just a disguised creature, or do I flip that up and make it a 5/4? I just go ahead and play the disguise, get the extra counter on the tipster here, which might have been the wrong play. I might have been able to just flip up the 5/4, but usually you want to use that on offense a little bit more. Glintweaver can't come soon enough with all these flyers here. And here comes the team, I'm sure. Yep. So, do we block again, or now do we take 6 again? Looks like I will go ahead and just block this time. Go to 10, draw a land. And I guess now we can play Glintweaver. So we'll do that and then fumble around with where to put the counters again. Because what's new? And I go for making all of my creatures a 4/4, which all block and get through Surveillance Monitor here. So I actually just choose to attack. We're going to have to start pushing some damage at some point. Just really got to hope he doesn't have removal for the Glintweaver here. More flyers. have not seen the power of the double satchel yet. That is what powered this deck as the last draft in MKM on here on the channel to the trophy. It was a very good double satchel deck, as where it got its name from. Discarded 2 lands and played a Lamp Light Phoenix. Well, all of these flyers might hurt us a bit, but all these lands certainly aren't doing it for us. Counting up the damage here and seeing if I can afford to attack. And I do. So this will turn up and hit him for 9 here, but still at 7. I'm really just riding on this Glint Weaver having reach. That's about all I can do here. Alright, getting in with everything. I just am going to block the Phoenix, take a bunch of damage here. And now we're in an interesting spot, because now if we draw removal, we win. Now, if we attack, they do have to block with the Scholar. And if I don't attack, then they just attack us for lethal on the backswing. So I swing here, forced to block. It's actually become a pretty close race with that full swing last turn. So we play Tipster. We're forced to block Surveillance Monitor, but they can't attack with everything if they don't draw another creature, because the Offender at Large will then just kill them. So holding back a Thopter here to block the Offender at Large while we chump with Tunnel Tipster. That's what it looks like. Again, we win with removal. It's a bit of a risky move, but now he wins next turn. Okay, removal off the top wins it for us, and a land unfortunately means we attack, they chump, and then just swing back for lethal. And if we don't attack, they've got flyers. So a frustrating loss there, but that's okay. That's why we're playing best of 3. So we'll go to the third game, tied 1-1, going on to play in game 3. Once again, not a great hand, but I am not a fan of mulligans. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. And we know we're playing against not the fastest deck. This deck isn't playing any Gleaming Gear Drakes or anything. So we're going to play V2 Inspector on 2. And boy, with all those Thopters and 2/2 flyers, this is likely going to save us. Play this here, pass it back. Disguise, no attacks. Now we've got the mana efficient thing to do, which is Tipster and play Strength, or we can do Vengeful Creeper here. So I attack and see if they try to block. It looks like they're fine trading, so I'll just use Strength, be mana efficient, get rid of their Analyst here, and then play Tunnel Tipster. Now we've got 6 mana next turn if we want it. And Tipster plus Disguising a Creeper is, that's a lot of power and toughness on the board. So I could attack and flip up the Creeper in response to a block, but he's got 4 mana untapped up there. There's many ways that could go wrong for us, so I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and play Disguise plus Tipster here. And there's some sort of response coming. And it is Repulsive Mutation, which actually messes us up pretty badly, unfortunately. The tipsters don't get any counters. They got a 4/4. We can't really do much at this point. And we're out of cards. So they have 4 cards. This could be tough. Accusation locking down the Vengeful Creeper, which seems like it would be a good play if this weren't exactly Vengeful Creeper, which can flip up and kill their Dramatic Accusation. So we'll play the land here, use the 6 mana, kill it while they're tapped out so they can't shuffle it, and then the race is on. And that was a pretty pivotal point in this game here. And, you know, there are many, many disguised creatures in our deck. At least, there might even be like 9 or 10, 11 of them. And unfortunately for George there, that was the Vengeful Creeper. Okay, still bashing though. Torch the Witness. Can we kill the disguised creature and pay for the ward while also getting a clue here? And the answer to that is yes. So we'll pay X equals 3. We can also get the clue that we can crack with our double tipsters here. It was an Exit Specialist, a nice little bounce creature. And at this point, we now have the biggest creature on the board. Thoroughfare tapping the clue, the best value you can get from a Thoroughfare. And I guess attacking with the Technician does make sense here. I could trade it with a Tunnel Tipster or an Inspector. I just don't really feel the need to do that. I'm at 12, they're at 9. I think I'm the aggressor here, so I'm fine just taking it. And no plays. Interesting. Okay. We will draw a couple cards and oof, here come the tunnel tipsters. And the disguise creature. Once again, that's a lot of counters. Okay, out cold, prolonging the game even further. Not attacking. Let's play this as a disguised creature as well as Tunnel Tipster, and then have a board full of 2/2s. Still have not seen any of the Satchels from that deck, which is, again, in 3 games. That is the power of that deck. Double Satchel, haven't seen either of them. So I have enough creatures at this point that, like, I'm actually thinking, like, do I have lethal on the backswing in a way? But with my creatures tapped down right now, I don't think I do, so I just go ahead and make the trade. And there's the 4th one. And at this point, if he doesn't block the disguised creature, we do have lethal on board. So we'll flip it and go for it here. And unfortunately, he does have the answer. But again, we do still have Vengeful Creeper untapping next turn. The person of interest can't block. Well, I thought we had Vengeful Creeper untapping next turn. Okay, go to 5. Torch the Witness, a lot of options here. The Inspector does have reach, so that at least helps us block here. So can just play Tipster and Warden, and I could even kill the Sprite or the Person of Interest just to protect my life total here. Lots of options on what to do. So now do I tap the Tipster to kill one of these 2/2s for no extra value? And by no extra value, I mean no clue token, and the answer is, I don't know. Can't decide. And I say no because I think I'd rather the value, because now the Tipster plus the Inspector can block the Person of Interest, and it looks like they're flooding a little bit. So we get the extra value, kill the 2/2, no responses. And at this point, I think we might just have lethal, right? They can only block the 5/5, counting it up, attacking with everything. And as long as there's no response, that will do it. With Gruul Disguise making it into the semifinals to take on Naya Disguise next week in the second semifinal matchup. You can see an updated version of the bracket on your screen now in this top 8 best deck tournament. That's right, Gruul Disguise takes on Naya Disguise next week, and you can also see the other semifinal come on Monday. So hope you guys are enjoying this tournament so far. 3 more videos to go, all next week, and then it's Outlaws of Thunder Junction set review next Friday. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time for your daily draft.